A few weeks ago, NVIDIA dropped the 3060 Ti, just like they dropped Hardware Unboxed randomly and out of the blue, and something about ray tracing. So let's talk about ray tracing. Speaking of dropped, Cyberpunk just dropped, and I hear it's got a ton of rays to trace. So is the 3060 Ti enough to ray trace Cyberpunk? We have the Gigabyte version of the graphics card. It was the only one I could get, along with a power supply that is perfectly acceptable for a system that you would build this in, except for it has ketchup and mustard wires, and I hate them. So with that power supply, it was $550, which feels kind of bad when the 3070 is supposed to be $500, and this is only supposed to be $400. But what are they really worth? People and their silly unboxing videos. Ugh. Give me the card. Man, this looks oddly familiar. As in, it looks exactly the same as the 5700 XT. Exact same, yeah, 5700 XT. I love how graphics card manufacturers do this, where they like take one design and just copy paste it onto all of their graphics cards. Well, that is slightly different. It looks very similar. Copy my homework, but don't make it too obvious. Wait, they're copying their own homework. This is just resubmitting the same. Apparently this has RGB. So yeah, it looks like every other Gigabyte graphics card for the past 3 years or so. It has the blow-through design that the reference card has. It's really interesting how they have the power connectors here. You can actually see the wires coming off the power connectors and running to the PCB. I don't know if there's like another connector in there, but I have never seen that before. That's pretty wild. I feel like it's just a more standard place to put it is over here. Either that or the PCB that they're using is, because you can see the connector in there right there.
They just give you a free adapter from the 10-pin?
Kind of, but not really, because it's a flat connector that they got going across there. It's a really long, flat connector. That is wild. Like, I like seeing cool new stuff like that. 2 HDMI ports. It's been a long time since I've seen 2 HDMI ports on a graphics card. GeForce RTX, because they don't want you to forget that it's an RTX, and then more GeForce RTX because they don't want you to forget that it's an RTX. Oh, there's a power switch. There's a BIOS switch. There's an OC/silent switch on it. That's cool. I'm really blown away by that, how they moved the power connectors over here. Like, it's just a standard place for it. You know, and also, if you damage your power connector, I guess you could replace the power connector really simply because all you do is unplug and plug it back in. I don't know, there's some kind of weird thought process behind that. All right, let's go ahead and just throw it in the computer and start playing some Cyberpunk and see how well this bad boy do. We're gonna be using the standard Intel 8086K at like 5 point something. I think we're just going to run it at 5.0 gigahertz because on initial testing with Cyberpunk, it really didn't like Cyberpunked. On initial testing with the 5.3 overclock, the game wasn't quite happy. And I'm not sure if it was the overclock or it was the RAM, but I'm going to tone it down a bit because you're definitely not CPU bottlenecking in Cyberpunk with this kind of hardware at 5 gigahertz. It's definitely not the bottleneck there. I don't know, we'll find out. All right, we're in the game, so let's set it to a custom low and quick preset low and let her rip. It pretty much turns everything off. So yeah, 150, 160-ish. My God, this game looks terrible. Oh, damn. Yeah, that looks really bad. Like, just certain baked-in textures just look terrible. I mean, it looks like GTA 5. You see people, as they come through your vision, you'll see them, like, in their car before their car will load.
Oh, the ground. You look at someone's face? You know...
He looks almost as empty and lifeless inside as I do.
You know, it's funny. I still feel like this looks better than the PS4 screenshots.
Are they really that bad?
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, this is some pretty good hardware that we're working with here.
What setting is this though?
This is all low. Like, this is as low as it'll go.
I mean, are they running extra low on the PS4?
I guess.
You've got low and then you got console. Oh my lord. Yeah, it's ugly, but I'll have to show you the screenshots later. They're pretty bad.
Is it that weird, like, not rendered yet textures?
It's like, it has to be a bug. Like, it has to be like some weird texture, like alignment
Ugh.
issue.
All right, let's enable some settings. I'm gonna start off by turning on ray tracing and then just setting ray tracing to the max. And then I'm gonna also turn on DLSS. So at least the lighting looks really good, but it tanks the frame rates, like 77-ish. So all low with ray tracing on, still playable, but I feel like having better textures with ray tracing off is probably better. All right, let's set it to medium, but turn off lens flare and whatnot because I don't actually feel like that looks any better. And ray tracing off, DLSS off, and immediately the game looks way better. I feel like it looks way better. Like, there's a lot of ground texture that wasn't there before, and I mean, people still look dead inside, but aren't we all? Okay, let's see what ray tracing does. Let's turn on ray tracing, set it to the max. DLSS, set that to auto. Let's see what it does to the frame rate. It's down to 75, which actually isn't that much worse. It's like medium settings with ray tracing on and DLSS on, pretty much the same FPS as all low. So I guess it makes little difference there. Thanks, DLSS. All right, moving on. Still playable though. So medium with ray tracing on, still playable, which is pretty good coming from a $400 graphics card. I mean, relative $400. You're not going to buy one at $400 unless you're scouting them out. Let's set it to custom high, ray tracing off. What kind of frame rates we getting? 100, 106, yeah, 105-ish. Yeah, so still playable at high. High looks really good. Like, the game looks really good. Man, why do we even use high-end hardware? Like, I'd play this. All right, let's turn on ray tracing. Set it to the max. Yeah, max ray tracing brings it down to 70 FPS at high. I'm really impressed by this card, man. I'm really impressed. It's holding out. It's doing its job. Yeah, so ray tracing on high preset plays pretty much the same as medium. I feel like this is a running trend here. Like, all right, moving on. All right, so what we got? Ultra. Again, I'm going to turn off all the motion blur, filmic grain, chromatic aberration. Apparently that's just terrible. All right, so Ultra preset. With the 3060 Ti, we're down to 90 FPS. So we lost probably another 10 FPS over the custom high setting, but game, again, still playable. I wonder if a lot of like textures, like things blowing up maybe, might tank your frame rates, but as far as just looking around, the game looks good. All right, let's enable that sweet ray tracing. I really don't feel like the settings in this game make any difference when you enable ray tracing. Like, when you enable DLSS and ray tracing, they all seem to be at like 75 FPS. Like, it doesn't make like any difference. It's wild. God, this game looks so good. Even at 1080p, it looks pretty good. Especially when you get up close to like a wall and you see textures in the wall. It looks really good. I see some dips every now and then into like the 60s, but it's still high 60s. Still very playable. Moving And that's the highest. Ray tracing ultra. I guess that's it. Just set everything to max. Apparently there's an ultra performance DLSS. Wonder what that does. Let's try it out. Just turn everything to the max. Even the chromatic aberration garbage. Oh, that looks terrible. DLSS, what are you doing? Looks at this. Well, I guess this is filmic grain that's doing this. Here, Zach, take a look at this. So right now I'm getting 110 FPS. Like, this game is completely maxed right now. But it looks terrible, does it not?
Yeah, kinda. It just looks like not focused.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's gotta be.
Go back. Look at her legs. Like, they look fuzzy.
Yeah, everything looks kind of fuzzy.
Like, fuzzy, a little jaggy. Like, it's just not focused. Maybe that's what's going on with the PS4.
I mean, this is ultra performance. I'm going to go back to auto DLSS.
But the PS4 doesn't even have, like, any of the hardware for this.
Yeah, completely maxed 1080p. Not a problem for this card.
Wow.
It's not even getting that loud. I hear a little bit of coil whine. All right, let's kill it with 1440p. All right, and we're back at 1440. You think it's going to be able to do it?
At what settings?
It didn't seem like settings made a big difference before, though. Like at 1080, didn't seem like it made a big difference. Maybe this game is just like engine limited. Let's start off at low. Why not? It's really interesting to play with the basic no DLSS and then add ray tracing with DLSS, but then maybe not with DLSS. There's so many options that you can play around with, but we're gonna go with all low first. So all low at 1440, we're getting 120-ish. So I think before, at 1080, I think we were getting like 150-ish.
Yeah, like 150, 160.
Yeah. Yeah, not too bad. Still looks better than console.
What a high bar.
I'm just gonna, yeah, let's go low, but let's turn on ray tracing. Let's turn it all the way up to the max. Let's just turn it on without DLSS real quick. I just want to see what it looks like. So ray tracing on without DLSS, 1440p low, is 33 FPS. I feel like it'd be a similar circumstance if you were playing at 1080p right now. It would be like probably like 40 FPS. So it feels like that's about where this game scales at. Low, ray tracing on. Let's enable DLSS, and let's see where we're at. Give me a solid 60. Yeah, it is. All right, I'm not sugarcoating this. I'm going all the way to the max. Just max it out. At 1440, can it do it? I guess I'm just gonna set the max preset. Just ultra ray tracing preset. What do you look like? 60 FPS. How is this game optimized? What is it optimized for? It makes no sense, man. Let's turn off all the weird filmic grain stuff. 60 FPS. It's like 4 FPS higher. I don't know what the chromic aberration thing that somebody was talking about on Reddit, because it doesn't seem to make a difference. Yeah, no, I mean, like, maybe if I'm loading some textures, it dips down into the 50s, but yeah, you can play Cyberpunk maxed at 1440p. Is it time? Is it time, Zax?
No.
Yes. Yes, it is time. It's also still really quiet.
Okay, Afterburner, sliders go brrr.
I mean, this is perfectly playable.
Oh, open your tech menu. I remember Homeboy's game just dying whenever you opened up, like, not the tech menu, the tab scanner.
Works fine.
I just know Homeboy's game was dying when he did that. Like, in particular.
That's funny.
In your scanner tech mode, you need RAM, yeah?
Oh yeah, he didn't download enough RAM.
He's got a 970. It's got 3.5 gigabytes of real RAM and then 0.5 of trash.
Oh yeah, speaking of RAM, we're gonna be trying out RAM speeds with this poor game. Although looking at this, who knows? Maybe RAM speed doesn't matter, and this game is literally just optimized to run at 60 FPS no matter what you do. Yeah, it doesn't seem to care. I mean, it drops down into the 50s, but like it's staying above 50. Like nothing I've done so far has upset it enough to drop below 50, like into the 40s, which, in my opinion, perfectly playable. I don't see anything wrong. Some people might think I needed to run at 144. I bought 144 hertz refresh. I need to use it. All right, time for 4K.
No.
What do you want to do?
Overclock.
You want to overclock it?
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna make a difference.
Just bump the sliders.
Okay.
100,
400?
What?
100, 400? Like 100 on the core, 400 on the memory?
And, well, we always did it on GDDR5, but never failed us before.
Hey, we're hanging out above 60 now.
We did it!
Thanks, Mr. Overclock.
It's all in the sliders.
It's all in the sliders. God, this game looks so good. Even on a 1080p monitor rendering at 1440. All right, let's go for 4K. All right, we're back with 4K. Granted, you're not going to see it in 4K because we're recording on a 1080p Elgato, but you're going to see the frame rates dip. Got to turn on 4K in the game, or else we're going to look stupid. All right, let's start with low. Let's dip our toes in. Oh God, the counter is so small up there in the corner now. The FPS counter has gotten so small. It's at like 60 FPS. All low. 60 FPS. It's struggling too. It's really, the fans are ramping. This is with an overclock, by the way. Very, very small overclock. Probably a safe overclock. Ray traced ultra, everything ultra, 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 ultra. Man, 40 FPS. Wow, that's it's definitely on the borderline of playable at this point, though. I wouldn't like to play it like this, but it's not stuttering really bad. It's a smooth gameplay. It's just it's not 60 hertz smooth. It's not 144 smooth. It's just 40 smooth. It's dipping down into the 30s at times.
Turn DLSS off.
All right, Zach.
Let's see the real raster.
Sorry, NVIDIA. Oh, it's a slideshow.
We said the R word. We're banned.
It's at 15 FPS. 4K Ultra. It's having the bad time. My shadow looks so silly on the ground. Yep, 14 FPS. 15 FPS. I think we all expected that. It's like that Scooby-Doo meme where they take the mask off. Wait, you're really 14 FPS. Let's turn on DLSS for performance, even though it kind of ruins some of it. You know, performance DLSS really doesn't do that much more. It's still at 40 FPS. So yeah. Don't know what I expected. It runs good. 1080p, great card. 1440p, still perfectly acceptable. But 4K, obviously, you're asking for a bit much from a cut down 3070. And with that kind of expected results, thanks for watching. If you have something else you'd like to see out of this 3060 Ti, let us know in the comments. Like it again. I don't know, did I already ask you to like it? Get subscribed, and we'll be posting a lot more of this throughout the week. So stick around for that.